Hands on Health. I am Dr. Patrick Frain.
And I'm Dr. Susan Frain.
And welcome to another great episode of Hands on Health, where we have a really great topic today. And today's topic is don't flush away your supplements.
Oh my.
Oh my. But let's face it, if we're
Where's
not,
this gonna go?
Where's this going to go? But if we're not taking the right supplements, that could really be the case.
Yeah.
So where this is going to go is that everybody's taking supplements, and the thing is, there's so much out there, right? So we've got store aisles, we've got online websites, we've got as seen on TV commercials, we've got infomercials, big box stores, pharmacies, grocery stores, and something called private label.
Overwhelming.
It is overwhelming. So how are patients coming in supposed to have any idea of what they're supposed to buy when those are all their choices that are out there?
And a lot of people, I don't know if this happens to you, but it certainly happens to me, it's paralysis by analysis.
Yep.
There's almost too much information that you don't know what to do with it, so you do nothing at all.
That's right. So I won't take anything because I don't know what to take.
Right.
So the purpose today is to help you sort out the difference between your over-the-counter supplements, which are things that you can go to any of those places we just mentioned, and something called nutraceuticals.
Ooh, fancy.
It's a big fancy word, nutraceuticals.
It's fancy.
But by the end of this podcast, you're going to understand the difference between over-the-counter products like supplements and nutraceuticals. And I think when we're done with this, you're going to say it makes sense why we should take those. So we're going to talk about what makes one absolutely superior, how to stop wasting your money, and how to get the maximum benefits out of what you are taking. So if you're interested, this podcast is for you.
Yeah, there are so many brands, there's so many price points. People will often choose a supplement based on cost.
Right, a lot of times.
And it's like, well, what's the difference? This vitamin C is, you get 500 of them for $3, but this one you get 100 of them and it's $50. What the heck's what is the difference?
What is the difference?
Yeah.
So to answer that question, the difference really becomes in what we like to call survive versus thrive. And the big concept behind this is that Mother Nature really only needs us as human beings to survive. She's really not concerned about us thriving. And this really only needs to take place up until about the age 20. So the only purpose, if we think about this, we get nutrition from, all of the foods that we eat, but it's so minimal. But the only thing that Mother Nature is really concerned about is making sure that we have enough nutrients to do the bare minimum so that in our 20s we can reproduce and we can keep the species going. That's really it. She's not concerned about us thriving and being our best and living a ripe old age of 95. She just wants to make sure, can you reproduce to keep the species going? And it takes such little to do that.
And we've screwed it up as a society so much too.
Absolutely.
Which I'm sure you're going to get to at some point, so I'm probably jumping ahead to for
Well,
you.
no, but the point of that is we can eat like crap and we still get the nutrients to survive.
That's pretty sad.
It is, but it's not the nutrients needed to thrive, and that's the difference.
Gotcha.
I thought this was very interesting. Lifelong eating habits are formed by our age of 20.
Wow. Well, and that goes back to our family podcast.
Yes, it does.
Getting the kids involved at an early age.
Yes, it does.
Wow. That's
So
interesting.
think to yourself, if you're listening to this in the car, driving around, think to yourself, by the age of 20, how were you eating? Were you eating on the run? Were you eating organically homegrown things? Did you live on a farm? Did you grow all your own fruits and vegetables, which sometimes a lot of our farming community patients do?
Absolutely.
Or was it the idea of breakfast was the Entenmann's Donuts box on the counter, the frosted powdered donuts? You grabbed that and a Coke on your way out the door.
God.
Or maybe you saw a parent doing that. And that was your impression. And so you thought, my Pop-Tarts for breakfast is good, where somebody else by age of 20 was, no, I'm having fruit and some oatmeal or something like that.
You model the behavior you see.
You model behavior.
Yep.
This was interesting. I want to read this to you guys. This is a quote that I'd found. Because our eating habits haven't killed us yet, the brain has no reason to believe that what we are eating is harmful to us, or that we aren't getting everything we need in our daily diet. We must be doing okay as we've been alive this long.
Wow.
Isn't that great?
That's a very bottom of the barrel, base acceptable bottom
That's it.
for living. Holy
So
cow.
we eat nutritionally deficient junk foods, we survive only on calories, and then we gain fat so that we can have these extra pounds on us and these extra calories stored up, like the squirrels keeping the nuts for winter. But we keep those so that this is basically, let's keep you to about 30 years on this, and this is survival. But it is absolutely not.
Wow.
It's not thriving. It's
Oh,
not thriving.
No, not at all. Holy cow. So what are the types of supplements and when did these come to the market?
Absolutely. Okay, so there are 7 main supplements that are available to us today. Vitamins, minerals, herbs, botanicals, amino acids, enzymes, and probiotics. So those are the 7 things. If we're talking supplements, and if you're going to your store and there's the whole aisle, those are the 7 things that
7
you can.
categories.
The 7 categories. That's
Okay.
what you can buy. Now, what's interesting is, when did this all come about? So I think you may have heard of the RDA,
Absolutely.
the
Yes.
recommended daily allowance. Okay.
Yeah, that's also the base acceptable bottom, by the way.
Yeah.
Don't even get me started.
Do you know when it
there.
was started? When was the RDA? When did they come up with the RDA?
I have no idea.
1940. 1940. It was before
Has
Pearl
it been
Harbor.
revised?
It has not been revised. To my knowledge, it has
Wow.
not been revised. It was literally set in the 1940s. In 1940, that's when they came up with the
Things
RDA.
have changed a little bit in the past 80 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
So now what we're learning is the current research is, are they working on revising it? Yes. Have there probably been some revisions to it? Okay. But the RDA came around in 1940. This was a long time ago. So now the research is showing that where is the RDA falling short? And it's falling short in 3 key areas: preventing chronic degenerative disease, promoting optimum health, and extending or expanding lifespan. Those are the 3 things that now, finally, after 75, 80 years, now finally let's start getting our act together.
Yikes. Well, that sounds about right.
Yeah, exactly.
Takes a little while for us to get our butts going sometimes.
So now we got to
80,
take
90
8 or 90 years.
Whatever.
We'll figure it
We'll
out.
get on it at some point.
So now we want to take supplements. We want to help with these things, and we want to take supplements. And so the supplements actually do 4 things. It's going to strengthen the cells, it's going to protect the cells, it's going to repair the cells, and it's going to regenerate the cells. Those are the 4 reasons why we want to take our supplements.
Okay. Well, that makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the difference between the over-the-counter supplements, nutraceuticals? I'm sure we're going to get into all that, but I
Yep.
think we probably need a little, a little input from Stats Galore.
Stats Galore. Bring out Stats Galore. Bring us the
She
stats.
really
Our
needs to make
Bond
a little
girl,
appearance.
Stats Galore.
What
what you
is
got
that,
for
like
us?
a cameo or
It is.
something like that?
It is.
Okay.
It's the cameo appearance.
Here's the cameo from Stats Galore. 40% of Americans take supplements.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I
How many
think
people
it
is
needs
that?
to be way. That's a good question. Thanks for asking. That's 100 million people. I think
100
it needs
million
to
people.
be like 100%. Now, here's the deal. I believe that we should get all of our nutrition from whole foods.
Absolutely.
However, in this country, we are killing our food supply so bad. We are adding all of these chemicals to it that we're actually depleting the soil
Right.
and therefore depleting our food from the nutrients that we need.
Yep, exactly.
So unfortunately, we don't have a choice but to take supplements to help with the lack of nutrition that we're getting nowadays.
That's right. Yep.
However, if you're just taking something off the shelf at your local, I don't know.
Big box store.
Thank you. I wanted to be careful on
Yes.
that one.
Or a big store with a big W, or a big store with a big
yes,
C
exactly.
in the
You
first
don't
letter.
want to do that because you might not be getting, and you're going to go into this, you might not be getting the full effect. Global nutraceuticals market size was valued at $454 billion in 2021, expected to expand at a compound annual growth rate of 9% to 2023.
That was a beautiful stat.
Well, thank you.
It was a beautiful stat.
Okay, Stats Galore is now out.
Stats Galore, beautiful stat.
We'll see you later.
So they're making a lot of money.
Yeah.
Companies are making a fortune off of all these. And if you think about how expensive it is to run an infomercial on television,
Oh my God, yes.
and yet some of these infomercials are run on multiple channels at the same time, I can't even imagine how much the markup is, what the cost of the product in the bottle has to be in order for them to be able to sell it, market it, and have it out there for mass distribution. By the way, the big store with the W or the big store with the C takes a huge cut of that money when they sell it for you.
Or are they just using such crap?
Or there's nothing much in there, right?
Exactly.
The ingredients are so poor. And then they put these infomercials out on here's why this is so good, and we don't know what we're buying. So, but
Interesting.
anyways, here's the deal. So supplements and nutraceuticals, this is what we really have to get down here too. And both are designed to improve a person's health overall. I mean, it's not like that's not the intention. But what we wanted to really do is we want to give the body a condensed amount of vital nutrients to really get your optimal health. That is why we take something. So it's impossible unless you're really into an organic lifestyle with soil that's being turned over and you know everything about it. We're not going to get the nutrients in our daily diet. It's even a baked potato. You got a really good organically grown baked potato, but then you put it in the microwave for 8 minutes so that you can eat.
Don't put it in the microwave.
Because the oven takes an hour and a half to cook your potato. So there you just killed all the nutrients.
Exactly.
So anyway, so let's talk about over-the-counter supplements. So that's where we're going to go.
Okay, go for it.
Okay.
Tell me.
So over-the-counter supplements, something that you buy, this is what it really is. It contains some nutrients, but the sources that are in there are kind of questionable. Like we just talked about, we're not really sure where those are coming from.
And what about the amount?
Amounts can vary, and there's some gray area as to how much is in there, and I don't want to I don't want to comment on that because I researched it. There is something that Susan and I had heard in school. I can't find the exact information on it, and I'm going to tell you right now in our podcast, if we don't have the right information, we're not going to put it out there. So I know what you're going for. I could not find that exact stat. If we do find it on a future podcast, we will bring it up to you, but I don't want to put it out there unless we have facts, because this podcast is only about fact. So we know that an over-the-counter supplement is labeled as dietary supplement, so you're going to see that on the bottle. It can be a tablet, a liquid, a capsule, or a powder, so we kind of know that. And it's considered food grade. That's kind of what happens. Supplements are considered food grade, which is why...
Yikes.
Right. Ooh. But that's why grocery stores can sell them. And it's why drugstores can sell them, because it's a food item. So if you wonder why grocery stores from about the 1940s on, started having little bottles of vitamin this and vitamin that, or the pharmacy would have those in front on it. They would have all their drugs behind the glass, and in front of the counter, almost by the gum and the candies, they would have a little bottle of vitamin C or something like that. That was because it's considered food grade. So it can be sold over the counter. And the other thing with an over-the-counter supplement, this is really a key. How do you know if you're taking a nutraceutical, which we're going to get into, or an over-the-counter supplement? Anyone can sell and anyone can buy a supplement online. That's what it is. Anyone can buy it, anyone can sell. Now I'm sure there's nutraceutical companies that you can buy something from online, and someone's probably going to challenge us and say, yes, but I can go online and I can buy this, but it is still going through a healthcare provider. It still has to go through a healthcare provider. Anyone can buy or sell anything if it's an over-the-counter supplement. You don't need any kind of a certification. So now there's some problems with this. Okay, so here's the problems with over-the-counter supplements. The ingredients very frequently come from third parties. So if you think about it, if you know your source, I know my source, we're doing our job, but then these ingredients come from a third party, and you have no idea. You have absolutely no idea where that's coming from.
You have no idea the quality.
Nope. You don't know the source, you don't know the soil, you don't know what it came from. Could this be coming from some beautiful mountain in the Himalayas, or could this be coming from some alley in the middle of a city, that's having smog and pollution falling onto your growing? It doesn't matter. There's no idea where that third party is coming from. Very lightly regulated, hard to verify the quality of the ingredients. Often it's an inferior product because I got to keep the costs down. It's hard to verify the quantity of the active ingredient. It tells you what the active ingredient is, but it doesn't tell you the quantity of that active ingredient. And that goes back to that stat that we heard that is there. You just don't know what it is. Most importantly, and this is really the key, if you're buying these over-the-counter supplements and you're thinking that you're helping yourself, they are very, very hard to absorb. This is really, really an issue. These capsules that they put them in are actually made of plastic.
Oh my God.
So you're literally putting a plastic capsule into your body, and now it's a light plastic. It's not like this is industrial, but it's a plastic capsule because they're cheap to make, right? Your stomach acid will absolutely break the plastic down. It's not going to kill you, but they are very, very hard to break down. So much so that people that take an awful lot of supplements that have GI issues, you will sometimes, and I hate to gross anyone out, I hope you're not eating breakfast with this, you will sometimes find the entire capsule with its little plastic container in your stool.
We've seen it on X-ray.
We've seen it on X-ray. Yep, we've seen it on X-ray.
You can actually see it kind of floating in there. We're like, what is that? Oh, yeah, it's one of
Yeah.
those low-grade supplements.
Yeah, there's a low-grade supplement in there, and
Yeah.
people think, we actually even send these out to a radiologist, and they're looking at these and they're confirming it's not a tumor.
Yeah.
No, it's your supplements.
supplements.
It's your supplements that are sitting there, which is why sometimes if you go on the big medical sites, they say supplements don't work. These supplements are a waste of money.
Well,
You
if you're taking this crap, yeah.
Exactly. So it's, when you look at this and you think to yourself, well, my so-and-so says supplements don't work, and I've looked on my web blank to look it up. Yeah, they say it don't work because guess what? These types of things.
What a bunch of BS. There's such a wide range of quality.
These aren't working.
You have to,
These aren't working.
The scientific method, man.
Man, it all comes down to quality. Now, here's another thing about these supplements that are there. They can cause illness and side effects with allergic reactions because there are unreported ingredients that are there.
Wow.
I never thought of that. When I was researching this one, I said, you know what, that really makes a lot of sense. What if there's something in there and it just doesn't agree with you because you have an allergy to it? They don't have to disclose what's on there.
Wow, that's kind of scary. Okay, all right, well, fine. So we've got over-the-counter supplements. What the heck is a nutraceutical?
So this is this huge word, but this is the direction that I would certainly, and I think we as an office would certainly encourage people to go. If you're going to take something, please strongly consider switching over to a nutraceutical supplement line versus these over-the-counter ones. So it's still a supplement. It's not a chemical pharmaceutical, because a chemical pharmaceutical is a drug.
Yes.
Okay. So this is a nutraceutical, which is a pharmaceutical grade nutritional supplement.
Okay.
Okay. Very interestingly, it was coined by Dr. Stephen De Felice in 1989.
You're probably not pronouncing that right. It's probably some fancy French name or something.
I'm going with Dr. Stephen De Felice.
De Felice.
De Felice. Now I've just offended all the French people that are watching this. We're going to get emails. But 1989, that's when this nutraceutical target name came by. More effective source of the nutrients. It's a concentration of whole foods that are ground down.
Okay.
That is really a key.
And that's where you really want to get your nutrition from is whole foods.
Whole foods. So that is what is in a nutraceutical. So it's not just taking a part of a plant or part of a vegetable, but this is actually taking the whole vegetable where you get all of your nutrients in it and breaking it down, grinding it down, and then that is what they're using.
Well, that's extremely important because Mother Nature is super duper smart. And when she made a carrot, for example, it contained all of the different enzymes that our body needed in order to break that down properly.
Yep.
So if you're just extracting certain parts as opposed to the entire thing and just ingesting those certain parts, then your body might not be getting the best results, might not break it down as well as it could.
The whole is worth more than the sum of its parts.
Amen to that.
And that's what it comes down to. A nutraceutical is going to have more organic active ingredients. That's another key. It does not have to be 100% organic. A lot of people say, well, if it's not 100% organic, I don't want to take it. It'll be labeled. You'll have the green organic label on there.
Verified or non-GMO.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of those labels which are really good, but it doesn't have to be 100% organic. It just has to be a nutraceutical line.
Okay.
The dose of the vital nutrients, what's in the nutraceutical, the dose of the vital nutrients is far more concentrated than what's in an over-the-counter product. So it says that vitamin C is in this, but it doesn't say how much and it doesn't say how concentrated that vitamin C is. So that's a huge, huge indifference. And that is also makes the nutraceuticals far more potent than what's an over-the-counter supplement. They talk about pharmaceutical grade ingredients and the processing of those ingredients. So this is where if something is pharmaceutical grade, a nutraceutical is going to follow the same standards in their company's manufacturing of these as what a major drug company would do with putting out a pharmaceutical
well,
drug.
The companies that we use, they actually independently test every batch that they turn out.
It's called independent batch assays.
Exactly. I'm stepping on your toes.
That's okay.
Go ahead.
That's okay. She knows a lot. She knows a lot. But it's true. So rigorous testing for purity and quality, and that is actually what was next, was independent batch assays. That's exactly what it is. A lot of these over-the-counters that you're buying at your big box stores that you think are helping you, they're really not because they all do not have independent batch assays.
It's not required.
It's not required. It's very expensive. And if something is not right, you could throw an entire batch of product out. I just don't see that when there's just a generic supplement that's out there that they're going to throw away, 1.5 million bottles of
So
it.
hopefully you're understanding why a nutraceutical is going to be more expensive
Absolutely.
than something you just get off the shelf.
Absolutely. It can also be certified. A nutraceutical can be certified under quality control groups for GMOs and things like that.
Yep.
Over-the-counter supplements cannot. They don't fall into that. And what's also interesting is that they have vegan capsules.
Yes.
Vegan capsules. So to me, that's one of the most important things when you're looking to buy a nutraceutical, or if we're going to recommend one for you, it's going to be a vegan capsule because it's vegetable. It's not plastic. You're going to be able to break it down.
my goodness.
And if you can break it down, your stomach is going to be able to absorb it.
Yeah.
And the other thing with nutraceuticals is that only licensed physicians, licensed chiropractors, or licensed healthcare professionals have access to selling them. And
Okay,
that's
well,
that's
why-
really
why is
where it's
that?
at. Actually, that's interesting because they're very potent. That's the first of
Okay.
all. It's a safeguard to protect the patients, to make sure that they're getting the right nutrients in the safest amounts. And that's the thing. You want to make sure that the patient doesn't take too much. When you're giving a recommendation for a nutraceutical, you want to sit down with your patient and you want to tell them this is how much you should be taking and how often. Where if it's an over-the-counter type of thing, people just, I take 10,000 IUs of whatever. Okay, but you might not need that. You might just be urinating it out. It might not be necessary. So recommendations on quantity and frequency.
Yeah.
That's why the physicians and the chiropractors are able to work with patients on them. And we want to make sure that there's no interactions with any pharmaceutical medications that they're on.
Absolutely.
There are some nutraceuticals or even some supplements. I believe it's vitamin K can interfere with blood thinners, things like that. So the goal is you want to have your doctor have a good, or your chiropractic physician, chiropractic doctor, have a good health history on you so that they know what medications you're taking so that your supplements that you're taking aren't harmful or your
Absolutely.
nutraceuticals aren't harmful.
And I think something to note is that in the state of Wisconsin, I love Wisconsin.
Great state.
Oh my God, that's why we live here.
Yep.
But in the state of Wisconsin, they put even an extra safeguard. We went to Palmer College of Chiropractic and we had some great nutrition classes in there. But in the state of Wisconsin, they actually said, you know what, we're going to protect the public even more, and we're going to require that you have even more training
That's
on
right.
nutrition, nutraceuticals, the supplements, all that jazz. So as chiropractors in the state, we actually needed to take an extra 48-hour course
postgraduate.
in order to become certified in this. So if there's chiropractors that are selling the supplements and going over nutrition in the state of Wisconsin, they actually have to be certified to make sure that their patients are getting the right information.
And you should be able to see that certification right on their wall. So if you're in someone else's office and you're listening to this and you're thinking, gee, I wonder, we have it right on our wall. It's right next to the family room, right down the hall here. And you can see that 48-hour postgraduate nutritional certification on the wall. So whoever you're seeing, make sure that they have that, because in the state of Wisconsin, if they don't and they're talking nutraceuticals to you, they're actually in violation.
Well, and I learned so much from that I hadn't learned in college. So I actually really appreciated that course. And we actually have to continue with that constant continuing education.
Yeah, every year.
Nutrition,
Yeah, for sure. So
what are some of the benefits of nutraceuticals?
Yep. So there's so much to cover on this. It's called biologically active formulation, and that is something that over-the-counters don't have. And what that means is your body is going to be able to easily absorb the nutrients that you're taking. But the proprietary blends are really the key here, and this is so important. It's helper molecules to get what you're taking to actually work, and this is so critical.
Yes.
I have always talked to my patients about the couples dance. If you are going to a couples dance, if we're going to go to a couples dance, which happens every weekend, we're always out on the town, right? Okay, so once in a while we go to a couples dance when we're not working or filming
once in a while
podcasts.
before we graduated.
That's right.
Yeah.
But you need two people, right, to go to the couples dance. Otherwise,
Yes,
the bouncer is going to say, I'm sorry, there's just one of you, you can't get into the dance. This is the way supplements work when they come into the body. So when they come in very, very frequently, in order for them to work, they have to be paired with something in order for them to get into the cells and to actually work.
Correct.
So in the example, a simple example of vitamin C, if you just take plain old vitamin C, it doesn't work as well, because when it gets to the part of the cell that says, hey, you need a helper molecule to enter the cell, the vitamin C is actually turned away and it's excreted. So what you want is you want to pair it with something like a bioflavonoid. And the bioflavonoid is going to be anti-cancer, antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, antiviral metabolites, which are found in plants. But what these nutraceuticals do is they have a proprietary blend where they put the vitamin C with the bioflavonoids.
Yeah.
It now becomes a partner, and the bioflavonoids help pull the vitamin C into the cells, and that's where all of a sudden you get your immune defense.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's where you get
now,
it from.
I will say though that that's, every case is different. So for example, if you need to take some iron, you have to have vitamin C in there. Otherwise,
Yep.
the iron, you're not going to be able to absorb it as well. But that might not necessarily be paired
Yep.
in a supplement.
Yep,
So you always
exactly.
have to watch that. Well, talk to your chiropractor.
Yeah, talk to your chiropractor, and we will be able to
Make
get you
sure
that
you're taking
information
stuff.
that's unique to you, for sure.
So is there a downside to nutraceuticals?
The only real downside to nutraceuticals would be cost. Generally a little bit more expensive to make just because of the ingredients, the quality ingredients.
Yeah.
And there's a small markup by the provider. We do not get rich on selling
Ooh,
supplements and
no,
nutraceuticals.
definitely
No, not at all. No, there's a little bit of markup, but it's not bad. There's a little bit of a plan to getting them. It's not something you just walk into the store with the big W and just grab it off the shelf. So you do got to talk to us. So, sometimes it's same day. We have some things in stock that are frequent sellers. Otherwise, we order it, so you might need a day or
because
two.
everything needs to be custom to the person,
Yep.
and then we have to review their drugs too.
And the other reason why we don't stock as an office, we don't stock just shelves of things here. People say, if they're so good for you, why don't you stock them all the time? They have an expiration date. Nutraceuticals have an expiration date.
Yes.
We want, if you're going to get something that's going to be, if you say, I want to do a liver detox, we want to make sure you get the freshest product available. And so sometimes it just takes a couple days to, to get that in for you. So the way we do things also in our office is we actually do a subscription series for your nutraceuticals. So whatever you decide you want to be on, we talk together for you for that. You can actually just go through our website and we can get you on a monthly subscription for that so that it just comes to your house every month and it just automatically refills. So it's only a challenge at the beginning, but outside of that. So if you're taking an over-the-counter supplement, if there's something you're listening to and say, gosh, I got my shelves filled with this, we can absolutely switch those out, for you for a very, very highly absorbable nutraceutical. You just have to let us know.
You're actually getting the benefit from it.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
You want to benefit. Okay, we got to wrap it up, but we want our take-home messages.
Yeah.
So, take-home messages. Most nutraceuticals are considered to be supplements, but not all supplements are nutraceuticals. And that's the way it works. The efficiency and the effectiveness of nutraceuticals make them far more cost-effective in the long run. You're actually going to take something that's going to work for you. You get what you pay for in the end.
Amen to that.
And don't flush away your supplements.
There's where
Don't
that
be
title came from.
don't be the patient that we see them on your x-ray or that you look in your bowl and you say,
What the?
I didn't eat any corn, but it's not corn. So there you go. And the last thing on this particular Hands-On Health episode is I want to read an important disclaimer because of the topic.
Very important.
And I quote, please consult your healthcare provider before taking any dietary supplement, over-the-counter, or nutraceuticals to understand the possible benefits or risks. You should also maintain good records of what supplements you are taking and provide those to your healthcare team. And if you have any complications from taking any supplement or nutraceutical, make sure to stop taking it and tell your doctor right away.
This is not healthcare advice.
It is not, but you can get a lot of great information from it.
Absolutely.
So we hope you've enjoyed this wonderful, wonderful episode of Hands-On Health and that you won't flush your supplements away.
That's right.
For Hands-On Health, I am Dr. Patrick Frain.
And I'm Dr. Susan Frain.
Have a wonderful week. We look forward to seeing you in our next episode.